this one I actually need to delete. See if this works. Cool. All right. So, why is it doing that? All right. So, review day. Any questions from you guys before we start? Okay. Now I recognize, well, at least for you three, the grades aren't on Blackboard yet. I've been busy trying to grade the last of my 101 class, and I got a little distracted this weekend because of this. So I've been very busy with this. Apparently you two aren't looking because I feel like I get a reaction. My neighbor found it under some leaves by the road when she was walking, and I guess we assumed that it got left behind by the mother cat because it was near a house with a bunch of loud children and they were harassing the cats. So I'm dealing with it now, and I barely slept at all this weekend. But luckily, my mom's side of the family is as whipped by cats as I am, so she's taking care of it right now while I'm here. Otherwise, it'd be in a box on the desk, and I'd be feeding it in the middle of class. Although it is pretty good about sleeping. Once you get it warm, it goes right to sleep. But it is little. I mean, you can tell by I put my hand beside it. It's even still got like a little bit of its umbilical cord left. It's little. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's all dried up, but yeah. Yeah, luckily I've raised cats or kittens all my life, so it's not too much trouble, but it's like having a baby. You got to always be right there. All right. I figured I'd share that with you guys. Okay. So let's do the review. And the study guide is up on Blackboard, and we'll go through like we have done before. And as I mentioned, this one should be a little bit easier than the first one, simply because the material is more concise. We're staying within Rome at least. So, yeah, let's start from the beginning. All right. What group of people preceded the Latins, which is to say the Romans, in Italy and were most important for bringing Greek culture to Rome? The Etruscans, yes.
Wait, can you give me just a second?
Yes. Blackboard being difficult?
Yes.
As per usual. And that's why I always try to do stuff early on Blackboard, because it's such a pain in the butt when you need it. Let's see. Actually, yeah, that's it for that one, actually.
Okay, so can you repeat that?
Yes.
It's the
Yes, I can. The group that first ruled Rome, or here on the test, what group preceded the Latins in Italy and were most important for bringing Greek culture to Rome? And the answer being the Etruscans. They were the ones that actually built the
So
city.
you already have the questions on the study guide?
They're based off of the test. Yep. Yeah, my method, I take the information from the book, put it in the PowerPoint, and then I throw the book away and take all the information from the PowerPoint and put it in the test, and then I put the PowerPoints away and take the test and take that information and make the study guide. So there is no extra information anywhere you don't need. It's all distilled down. Okay. Geographic details in Rome. What is the famous number of hills that Rome was founded on? 7 hills in Rome. Let's see. What river is Rome situated on? Because like all the previous major civilizations, it's on a river. What's that?
Tiber River?
Yes. Tiber River. Again, this is specifically why I wanted to make sure that in the previous test, when you guys spelled Tigris, you spelled it right, because this one's very close. And if you gave me this, it would technically be a completely different river. So, same here. When it comes to the river, it is short answer because, I mean, it's not a long name. Don't give me Tigris. That's a different river. Tiber River. All right. Some of the mythical heroes of Rome. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. What's that? Not yet. Well, actually, he's bringing him up next. Yes. According to legend, who was the first king of Rome? He was the brother to Remus, was supposedly nursed back to health by a she-wolf. And that would be Romulus, the mythical first king of Rome, who we definitely don't have any proof actually existed, but, you know. That said, there's been a lot of legends and even modern day maybe proof of like children being raised by animals. It happens, but it's pretty rare, and I don't think they make a very good king because they typically aren't able to speak. In 500 BCE, the Romans expelled their kings. Who was the famous hero who fought single-handedly against them as the bridge to Rome was destroyed? Yes, Horatius Cocles. Who was actually the other side of Tarquin the Proud. I think that's it for the mythical heroes. Well, again, Horatius, we have evidence that he existed, and that what he did in the battle was the thing that happened. But he's still very much like mythically remembered by the Romans, so I just figured I'd include him there. All right, ancient religious rites in Rome. Actually, I moved it down to just one, so we only need to know one. What religious event in ancient Rome consisted of reading the flight patterns of birds for insight into divine will? Good enough. Auspicatus. Remember the like auspicious? Os. Did I not spell it right? Picatus. Oh yeah, the book just doesn't, or the spell check just doesn't like ancient Roman words, ancient Latin. I used to have inauguratio on there, but I apparently shortened this at some point, so it's just auspicatus. Do I have? Okay. The three main offices of the Republic. So, the highest office, held by two people, stood in for the monarchy. What was that called? The consuls. Spell it. Okay. Yes, remember those were the guys that were really in charge, or at least they were like, you know, the executive branch in the modern parlance. Next, in terms of power, what role was held by patricians or the aristocracy? The Senate. And they had a lot of power as well. They could influence the consuls to some degree, but as far as like singular power, the consuls were at the top. And finally, after the phalanx was created, and the increased commoner importance or plebeian importance in warfare, what order of government was created to represent them? So what group represented everybody else? The regular folks.
Wait, can you repeat it?
It's the three orders of Roman society. What is the third order which is representative of the common man?
Assembly?
Yes. Yep, it's not some big Latin word, it's just the assembly.
PowerPoint's very hard to learn.
Is it giving you trouble?
Yes. You want to use mine? Oh, I got it.
Probably because you're using a... Yeah. I mean, if it works, it works, but it's not going to work as well.
I can get PowerPoint work on mine at all. It works. It's just a little tricky sometimes.
Well, and also you're getting it through straight off a blackboard, and that's always going to cause you trouble.
You go to the office, so you can use the one on laptop.
Let's see. Actually, I think they've got newer ones now because we actually ran out this semester. The attendance keeps going up, which is good, but we're not able to keep up with it.
I had to wait like a month to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a while before they were able to get more in. Let's see. We of course have the family system, and again, I apparently removed a couple of things from here. So the only thing you need to worry about is what idea or system was used when someone either did not have a family or was born into a lesser family, but could be adopted by a higher-ranking patrician. Remember, this was used all over Rome.
Client?
Yes, the clientage system. Hey, click on it. There we go. Yeah, the clientage system. I had all the like paterfamilias stuff in there before, but apparently over the years I've shaved this one down. All right. On to the enemies of Rome. In 387, what group of marauding people sacked Rome?
A band of Gauls?
Yes, the Gauls. That's modern day France. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. the reinvention of the Roman army, which is to say, during Rome's early conflicts, what military structure did Rome create in order to have an ordered, logical army? What group, what type of organization created the armies of Rome after this period?
Legion?
Yes, the legions, which is essentially just like bigger and more organized phalanxes, but it worked for Rome. And finally, we have, actually, I've got a couple of things in here. Oh, actually, yeah, we've got several things here. Actually, I guess we should pull back to here. Oops. All right. What was the name of the Hellenistic king who aided the Greeks in southern Italy against the Romans, and whose name now means a costly victory?
Pyrrhus of Epirus?
Yes. Pyrrhus of Epirus. Did I spell that wrong? I always put the H in the wrong place. Pyrrhus. I've actually got to fix that on my... Pyrrhus. Pyrrhus of Epirus. Or Pyrrhus is fine. But yeah, that's where we get the Pyrrhic victory. All right. What was the name of the device meaning like the beak of a raven that the Romans created in the First Punic War in order to fight land battles while at sea? Depends on how much you're into ravens/crows. Yes, the corvus. Yeah, that, because again, corvid is the family that crows and ravens are part of. So it's like the beak of a raven because it's got that hook that comes down. We've actually got a couple of things here. It wants me to spell corvid, I'm sure. No? All right. And what battle during the second... Actually, do we have... Yes, this is all before all of this. What battle in the Second Punic War did Hannibal's forces massacre 50,000 Roman soldiers, including a consul? This was the real big victory for Hannibal. Carthage is where he's from.
Was it the Second Punic War?
This was during the Second Punic War. Yeah. What battle during the Second Punic War did Hannibal's forces massacre 50,000 Roman soldiers? This was in the video. One of the videos. Remember, there were two major battles I told you guys about. Oh, Saguntum? No. That was where he landed in Spain.
Will you repeat the question?
Yes. This is a battle during the Second Punic War where Hannibal's forces massacred 50,000 Roman soldiers. This was that second video, if you guys were here for that.
Syracuse?
Also in Spain. I think. Was Syracuse in Spain?
Zama.
Zama's a little bit later. you just missed it. This might be one of the few ones that's not in the notes because I was specific about showing you guys during class. And I also put the links for the videos up on Blackboard.
And you said it's not Carthage.
Now Carthage is, the Battle of Carthage was did not go well for Rome. But that was the First Punic War.
It's not the Battle of Zama, right?
No, that's actually, I think that's the next one. Yeah. This is before Zama.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Yes. This is the Second Punic War, so this is Hannibal versus Rome. Which battle did Hannibal's forces massacre 50,000 Roman soldiers, including a consul? Actually, did the book might have given us a different number.
The Battle of Cannae?
Yes. Battle of Cannae. This was I had a longer version of the video, but I can't find it, so it's one of the videos we watched. Because if it's up on the board, it can be in the test, so that includes videos. And what battle finally found Hannibal defeated, thus ending the Second Punic War?
Battle of Zama?
That's the Battle of Zama, yes. And actually, one more thing for this. What was the surname given to the General Scipio who led the force who defeated Hannibal? Which defeated Hannibal, I should say. What surname did Scipio earn upon defeating?
Africanus?
Yes, Scipio Africanus. Because it was northern Africa where the battle took place. Okay. Do I have any? I'm not sure where I will put this. Okay, prior to Julius Caesar. Well, that's nearly here anyway. I'm just going to include this here. Name one of the languages that spawned from Latin spread throughout the Mediterranean. These are known as the Romance languages.
Latin.
No, yes, it's from Latin.
Oh, Italian.
Yes.
Italian, Spanish, and French.
Italian, Spanish, French. Those are the main ones.
On the test, will that be where we name one of them? Or do we need to know all of them?
You only need one of them. Hint, hint. So that's obviously a potential extra credit. All right. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and mention also Portuguese. And actually Romanian. There's a few other much more minor languages, but those don't get brought up at all. And if I see those on the test, online people, I'll know you're using Google. I'm still going to see it. All right. All right, that's it for the short answer for a little while. Who was the first of the Gracchi brothers who pushed a land reform bill that eventually led to his death?
We're still in chapter.
This is still chapter 4. The first of the Gracchi brothers, because there's two. Who was the oldest who did a little bit of land reform and got killed for his trouble?
Tiberius?
Yes, Tiberius was the older. I'd say imagine being named after a river, but we got a lot more weird names anymore. Let's see. And who was the second of the brothers who pushed for even more radical reforms, in particular including Rome's Latin allies as full Roman citizens?
Gaius?
Yes, Gaius Gracchi was the younger of the two. There should be a whole slide on the Gracchi brothers. It's after. Oh wait, we might be in. We can't be in the Roman Empire yet. Oh, we are in the Roman Empire now. Sorry. Yeah, we're on chapter 5 now. Usually I split them up chapter-wise. I guess I've just split things up, like, in terms of theme. Yeah, okay, so this is like the first major section of chapter 5 is the Gracchi brothers. All right. Who was the king in North Africa who is best known for bribing anyone and everyone to get his way, thus underscoring the corruption in Rome? Yes. Jugurtha, I assume that's how that's pronounced. It's not really a Latin name, so I don't really know what sort of pronunciation we'd be using. Yeah, Jugurtha, I assume, is how his name is pronounced. That's true. It's not an oral test, which I know unless it's literally a language class, as long as I can tell what you're saying, I wouldn't be able to count it against you. Even my grad school oral comprehensive exam, which was a nightmare, I feel like they wouldn't count it against you if you mispronounced it. All right. So starting with the consul generals. Who was the first great consul general who used his position as head of the army to further his power? He was made a consul to fight against the previous question, so he was made consul in the fight against Jugurtha. Yes, Gaius Marius.
Is that the same brother?
No, that's a different Gaius. Gaius was a common name. That's why we specifically have Gaius Marius, because this Gaius up here is Gaius Gracchus. Who was a representative of Gaius Marius and became the first in a long line of self-appointed dictators?
Sulla.
Sulla, yes. Also, the question continues with, he in particular had 40 senators and 1,600 equestrians put to death to secure his own power. So yeah, he got up to a lot. And one more from this group. Who was formerly attached to Sulla, which is to say part of his army, became another great consul general. He's best known for his timing and in particular being in the right place and time to mop up the last of Spartacus's slave rebellion. So this guy, go ahead. Yes, Pompey. That's the next line. Okay. All right. Where did I put it? There we go. All right. On to Julius Caesar. Prior to becoming consul and heading off to Gaul, name one of the two things that Julius Caesar used to gain popular support. So what did he do to get support among the people?
The games.
Yes, the gladiatorial games. Do you have the other one? Is that not how it's spelled? Gladiatorial. Do you remember what the other thing was that he did? You only need one, but you know. That was after. This is before he went to Rome. But yes, he did also get a lot of fame for that.
Free grain.
Yeah, free grain. This is bread and circuses. People are fed and they got entertainment, just keeping them busy, not worrying about all the corruption happening in Rome. What river did Caesar and his army famously cross in 49 BCE, which directly led to the civil war in Rome? This is it now basically means the point of no return. What river did he cross?
Rubicon.
The Rubicon, yeah. Which actually recently came back to the modern zeitgeist. Apparently the most recent Armored Core game was named Fires of the Rubicon, so people now know what Rubicon is again. Oh, that's right. Still got a bit more. Bum, ba, bum, bum. On what day was Caesar murdered in the Senate in March of 44 BCE? What was the date of the day? March 15th. In the Ides of March. March 15th, also known as the Ides of March. And I think that's it for Caesar. Yes. All right. On to the first triumvirate. Who was Caesar's loyalist who formed the first official triumvirate and set about having the enemies of the state killed, which is to say those responsible for Caesar's murder?
Mark.
Mark Antony. Mark Antony was the loyalist of Caesar who kept Caesar's reforms and ideas going. Also a member of the first triumvirate, who was Caesar's nephew and adopted son. That one's Octavian, yes. And the third guy, nobody cares. He got to retire, so I feel like he's good to go. Also, let's see. Once this fell apart, which was pretty immediate, what was the name of the Egyptian princess whose influence supposedly corrupted a member of the triumvirate, leading to a short war and Caesar's nephew taking power in Rome?
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra. just as a reminder, Cleopatra is closer to us in time than she was to the pyramids. She's only from about 2,000 years ago, and the pyramids are like 3,000 years before that. There's a whole ass like 1,000 years between her and the pyramids compared to her and now, which is kind of wild. All right. I think that's it for that. Yes. The name change for the last remaining member of the triumvirate, which is to say, I'll just read it off the thing here. Following the events of the last question, Cleopatra, what name did Caesar's nephew take when he became emperor? It is the Roman word for authority. Augustus. And it's also he's part of the reason why the year's screwed up. Because he also had to name a month after himself. All right. That's it for that. All right, on to the bad emperors. And also the good emperors. We got a lot of emperors. Who was the emperor who, among other things, wanted to make his horse his senator, put a statue of himself on the Roman Pantheon, and was killed by his own Praetorian Guard? Caligula. Caligula was not a good emperor. And the next bad emperor, which everyone should know, had his own scheming mother killed, poisoned his wife, kicked his mistress to death, and supposedly fiddled while Rome burned. Nero. Starting with the good emperors, I just had it all in one section, why not? Who extended the boundaries of Rome to their greatest extent, conquering both Dacia and Persia? We had that neat column in his honor that showed all his conquests. Trajan. Very good. Yeah, that column is known as Trajan's column. Which emperor, which emperor allowed the extended frontiers of Rome to collapse slightly for better defense, standardized Roman law, chose his successor and a successor's successor, and, because this is what I remember, had a wall built between Scotland and England to keep the Picts out? Yes, that one's Hadrian. Because remember Hadrian's wall in England, between England and Scotland. Oh, no, that's it for this. I guess I used to have, did I not? Hold on. No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, that's, so two bad emperors and two good emperors. So on to the final chapter. Following the death of Marcus Aurelius, who was the emperor after, actually no, he was two emperors after Trajan, or Hadrian. Following the death of Marcus Aurelius, his son became emperor, starting a century of anarchy. What was the name of this poor man? Yes, Commodus. Commodus was Mark Antony. Wrong guy. Marcus Aurelius' son, and as we see immediately, having lines of descent based on family wasn't that great. Let's see. Who took over in 284, beginning the militarization of the Roman Empire? So this guy stopped the century of anarchy. He's famous for organizing Rome. And also, like, making the government an arm of the army as opposed to the army being an arm of the government.
What was the question?
This guy came after the Century of Anarchy. He took over in 284 and began the militarization of the Roman Empire. He was one of the first like generals that became emperor. No, I don't know where Gaius or another Gaius would be. No, Diocletian, or was that what you tried to say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the D. I just thought you said Gaius. It's like that is a common name, but Diocletian. Also under Diocletian, what was the name of the system that Diocletian came up with to split the rulership of the empire into 4 parts? Remember, if you know any amount of Latin, you might be able to figure this one out. Because it's rulership in 4 parts. So this was, well, I'd say immediately after Diocletian. Technically, he was part of this system. He created it and implemented it right away. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. I'm sorry. That's later. You guys are following along note-wise, and there's a big gap. All right, I got ahead of myself. Sorry. We'll get back to that in a minute. What was the name of the manuscript in book form as opposed to using papyrus rolls? This was heavily used by the Christians of the Roman Empire. So what's the name of using a book form as opposed to papyrus scrolls?
Codex?
Yes, the Codex. If you've ever played any fantasy game ever, that's used in like every menu. Like, this is the Codex. Like, that just means the book. Come on. Who was the apostle that Jesus told would be head of the church, resulting in Petrine authority for Roman bishops? Peter. And again, Petrine authority is literally there in the question, but some people are still like, I don't know, John. It's like, it's Petrine authority, guys. Come on. Okay, this next is Constantine, because obviously Constantine. So we'll get back to this question. The system that Diocletian put together that split the rulership into 4 parts. Yes, the Tetrarchy. So if you want to split this one up, tetra is 4 in Latin. That's literally why Tetris is named what it is, because it's 4 blocks. And then archy is rulership, so it's just the rulership of 4. However, that like immediately fell apart thanks to our boy Constantine, which actually is one of the questions. The name of the emperor who began Rome's tolerance of and eventual conversions to Christianity. It's just literally right there, so it's Constantine. Remember, Constantine was the one that started the Christianization of Rome. What important edict passed in 313 declared the toleration of Christianity in Rome? Yes, Milan. Milan, Italy. The Edict of Milan. And I could just include this in here with these, but I figured I'd make it another question, so why not? What was the name of New Rome built in Byzantium, named after the first Christian emperor?
Constantinople?
Constantinople. I spelled that real weird. Okay. Constantinople. Spelled it right? Go me. I'm better at spelling when I'm looking at it on the screen now. That's how what technology has done to me. All right. Starting with the barbarians entering Rome, what was the group of Germanic peoples who sailed to northern Africa in 429, capturing the breadbasket of the empire? They also sacked Rome in 455 for giggles. And we still use their name today to represent something else. Vandals, yeah. I figured if I was going to make you guys remember a group of Germans, it'd be the Vandals. That just feels like the easiest one to remember. Those who hurt the empire the most, that's the Vandals. And the ones who started the migration, which is to say the group of Asiatic steppe horsemen who caused the mass movement of the Germanic tribes out across Eastern Europe in the first place. So what Asiatic steppe horsemen forced the Germans to get out of town?
Visigoths?
No, the Visigoths were another group of Germans. These are Asians. Remember, they had like everything from China all the way over to Rome, essentially.
Were they before or after the Visigoths, or like before that?
They'd probably be after the Visigoths.
What was the question?
This is the group of Asiatic steppe horsemen that caused the mass movement of the Germanic tribes out of Eastern Europe. Big, famous, marauding horsemen. Yeah, the Huns. The Huns. Which I guess technically Mongols, but they were the Huns at the time. Okay. One more group of barbarians here. What tribe did the famous Clovis lead, who converted to Orthodox Christianity when he did? So what was the group that, the name here is, or the question here is in reverse. What tribe did Clovis lead? And this was very important for the way Western Europe was formed. And it's why we named the region where they lived.
Frank?
Yeah, the Franks. It's right here. The Franks. I'll just do Clovis. Yeah, so Clovis was the head of the Franks, and his conversion to Orthodox Christianity resulted in them converting to Orthodox Christianity, and since he was like the biggest power in the region, he essentially made Orthodox Christianity the version of Christianity that would dominate Europe. All right. We only got a couple of questions left. Hey, you guys need to remember a year. What year did Rome fall? Western Roman Empire fall, I should say. I told you you've got one date. Well, you got the Ides of March, but 1 year to remember per test. And this is seen as like the beginning of the Middle Ages. No, not 540. Actually, this is, I got myself turned around. This is before all the, this is before we talked about all the various Germanic groups in the book, or around the same time we talked about the various Germanic groups, but before like Clovis.
457? No, 475.
476. Yeah, the change ever happened in 475, but by 476 they're like we can't just like go in and kick the king out anymore. It stayed. So 476 is seen as the fall of the Western Roman Empire. So just remember this year. This is the big year for this test, and next test we'll talk about the fall of, I guess, the East Roman Empire. All right. Justinian. And that'll actually be it for the test. There's the questions on Justinian. Justinian was an important emperor. He built Hagia Sophia, tried to reconquer the Western Empire, and that's all well and good, but the question I'm asking you guys, what was the name of his influential and headstrong wife who was named as his co-empress? Theodora. Some natural disasters. What event likely caused by volcanic ash caused temperatures to drop in the northern hemisphere, resulting in crop failures and famine? Oops. What was the name the book used for this? Which is not something I've ever heard outside of talking about this specific event.
Dust veil?
That was the dust veil, yes. There was a bunch of volcanic ash thrown up in the upper atmosphere, and it caused temperatures to drop, which is not good for crops. And finally, what was the likely identity of the plague that swept through the empire, often called Justinian's plague, which killed upwards of 300,000 people in Constantinople alone? The bubonic plague. And of course, there's a bunch of extra credit, but we'll get that when we get there. These extra credit questions will not be as nitpicky as the first test. I feel bad. I need to go back and fix those. The first section of extra credit, it's only 5 questions, but there's so many different answers you could give me. So that one you're fine. The next one is a little more specific, and then, well, it depends on how much you were paying attention for the last one. But yeah, and then of course a little bit of extra credit throughout the short answers if you give me a little bit more information. Any questions on any of this? Anything you guys need me to repeat? All good.
You'll post the stream.
Yes, it will be it'll be posted just like everything else, because my online students need it. But yeah, you guys very much have access to it. All right. So we'll do this on Wednesday.
Sounds good. Thank
All right.
And then we have to rush to sleep.
Take care, y'all.
you. You too.
And I will stop the stream.